solid, scary like them deep fakes. Ain't no way you winning like the sweepstakes. Free smoke like a street race. Why you at it, gone free blue face? Moonwalk, went on the beat. My head bobbing, some platoon talk. Play that Black Magic tune. That you tell me you gon' spend it like a top. I'm going back that bed till the bullshit stop. These jokers act like dying ain't enough. It's like they tryna dig you back up. Who they tell? I'm talking to these jokers like Judge Joe Brown. I'm rocking and rolling, but won't go down. They putting in on everything like Frank's Red Hot. Like beefing with 50, I never forgot. I can't see a program, really twist the pot. Bitch, I'm not one of those who you thought.
Welcome back to the Smarter Not Harder podcast. This your boy Trip, aka Black Magic Jr., aka Attorney Trip Freeman. And today was a good day, man. Fresh off of winning a motion to suppress regarding the DUI in Cobb County State Court. So, shout out my client, man. Glad you good, player. Doing our thing, man, to keep the citizens safe out here, man. So, hey. If y'all need anything legal-wise, man, holla at your boy, man. Me, Attorney Trip Freeman. 404-620-0036, man. Hit the office. We will help you. Specializing in criminal law, personal injury, and family law. So, let us know. But today's episode, man, is it's kind of interesting, man. Kind of a quick in and out type topic. But the focus on today is closer than ever, but further apart. In the society that we're in right now, with so many technological advancements, it seems like everything is at your fingertips. But when you sit back and really analyze it, it also seems that we're further apart than ever from one another. That overall, man, we might be out of touch with very much tangible things and people close to us. So I want to hear from you all on that, man. In the comments, please let me know how you all feel about it. But with so many changes in terms of social media and, the Facebooks, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, there's so many ways to stay in touch right now. So on some level, it feels like literally the world is at your fingertips. Right now, if I so choose, I can go right on my phone and contact somebody all the way in Japan. However, at the same time, it seems like with so many digital ways to stay in touch with one another, people are no longer picking up the phone and calling each other. So, it's kind of an interesting juxtaposition in that never before did you have access to so much, but at the same time, never before have people been arguably so alone. So, I think despite all the advancements, we're kind of moving further apart. It's like you have more access to the world on a global scale, but at the same time, we're almost being pulled further and further away from our general community and the people right around us. And we do see some examples, in terms of things like arguably flash mobs, or not arguably, things like flash mobs, where people are in touch and they utilize social media and technology to stay in touch with those right in their general vicinity and come together in the real world and do things. And also, I know a number of protests as of late have utilized social media and different types of groups to coordinate efforts and, pop up and appear places. However, at the same time, it seems like with social media, it almost gives us more of an excuse to not reach out and actually check on each other and stay informed. I remember back in the day when there was nothing to holler at your people for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes on the phone, just chopping it up, catching up with folks. Whereas these days, that is rare. It's really rare to actually pick up the telephone and just have a social conversation with somebody. More so, you may do work and get information here and there and communicate, in bits and pieces through text message, but it's almost rare for somebody to just hit you up and just check on you and see how you're doing. Especially outside of your immediate family. I mean, you may get calls from your parents if you're still blessed to have parents, but outside of that, it's rare that people really, hit one another up just to chop it and see how people are doing. So I do feel like, although we are connected as a planet now, we are very much disconnected on social level and just, within the people that we can reach out and touch. Post pandemic, has the society ever recovered? I need to do better without using that word but the pandemic changed things. It kind of made it to where we knew to just back up from one another. People were no longer excuse me, people were not so much in touch. We got used to wearing face masks, we got used to social distancing, and once the pandemic kind of subsided, seems like we never fully come back close how we were. I think in terms of technological advancements, also we saw the world go, more digital, and you have a lot more touchless purchasing, a lot more cashless purchasing. So there's not so much that human interaction. It's a lot more swipe your card, tap your card, take your stuff and go. Utilize U-Scan, utilize self-checkout, ring your own items up, and proceed out. But you don't have that basic human interaction that we used to have. So that's something that I notice on a daily basis, and sometimes I feel like it kind of makes us get that much more desensitized and used to that lack of human interaction. So I'd be interested to see, just comments wise, what people think, and maybe that's just something I've been noticing, and it may not be the case for other people, but overall I feel like there is decidedly a lot less human interaction post pandemic. As I've aged, I've become also just more comfortable with staying home, staying in more. So long gone are the days of me feeling like, oh man, it's Friday night, I gotta go out, hit the streets and get my groove on, or it's Saturday, what's popping. I'm a lot more content to just lay low, hang out in smaller social groups, and or spend time by myself or get work done. So I think that's also something that may contribute to that overall feeling of separation in the world. Whereas nowadays, you're more so likely to just chill with your lady or your friends, but it's not so much going out and strangers meeting strangers. And then the times I have gone out, it seems like it's a little more cliquey. Like people go out and they kick it with the people that they came with, but it's not so much strangers interacting with strangers. Pretty much groups go out and you hang with the group of people you're with. And if you're not with a certain group of people, you don't really go over there because they're interacting amongst themselves. So just been interesting to see, the world as we get back to speed post pandemic. It does feel like, or makes you question, has society recovered? It does seem like the COVID crisis has been maintained or handled, or that's come to a close, but the long term effects on society seem to be very much impactful in that we're no longer as close as society, and we're a lot less, physically social with one another as things go forward. So that's just something that I was thinking about today as I sat in traffic. Shout out ATL traffic. Golly, wasn't too bad today, but as I was in traffic, I was thinking about that. I was like, wow, for all these advancements we have, it's almost like we're moving further apart from one another, while we have the illusion of a greater connectedness. So that's something I'd be very much interested in. Want to hear people's thoughts on that, or am I alone in that thought? But I think it's happening subtly in the background and people don't notice it. So we should all try to make a little more effort to interact with one another and talk to folks, man. Pick up the phone and call your peoples, holler, check on people. Because we're also getting to a point where you see people checking out the game, passing away, or different things happening, and of course you feel regret when you no longer have that option of reaching out to someone. So cherish your people while they're here and check on one another. And sometimes you maybe you feel alone, or maybe I feel like I'm not as connected with people because I'm not putting forth enough effort to foster those relationships. So that's something that moving forward, I will personally be trying to work on myself. Or just pick up the phone, man, holler at people more, check in, try to reach out to kick it, hang out, and go out of my way to reciprocate and or pull forth that energy, man. Shouts out to my boy Big Chad, man. Big Chad family is what I always say. Create what you want to exist. So, there's something we need to be cognizant of and actually try to create what it is we want to exist out here. So that's about that in terms of the main topic. Musically, shout out Ghost, man. Tony Starks, man. Tony for mayor. New Ghostface, man. Supreme Clientele 2 is on the way. So I'm excited about that. Supreme Clientele 2 is not out right now, but I did hear the song Rap Kingpin and got to check out the visualizer for that. And boy, Tony is sharp, man. For real, man. Dennis Coles, Ghostface Killer, GFK is still that dude. So I would encourage everybody to check out Ghostface, So at Ghostface Killer, man, please check in, man. Check in and see what the Grace is working on, because Ghost is fire. And the production that I heard was tough, and it's, bringing back that Mighty Healthy type of feel of like, whew. It was definitely a head nod, and it made you just really check for the bars. Like, yeah, that dude hasn't missed a step. So, shout out the whole Wu Tang, and definitely, man, y'all check out the new Ghostface Killer Rap Kingpin. That joint is fire. In terms of content creation, man, who am I looking at in the space? Looking at a ton of different individuals in the space, but got to take time to acknowledge the game spitter. There's a brother, I think he's out of Carolina, man, called the Game Spitter, and it's DA_GAME_spitter, SPITTER, the Game Spitter. But he posts reaction videos and speaks on a wide range of topics, but what makes his take on things unique is that he brings you all sides of it. He does not just get behind somebody and just cape for him one way or the other, as much as Game Spitter gonna give you the positive, the negative, and also how it could have been done differently or how something could have been prevented. And he also takes it a step further in that he acknowledges the spiritual aspects of it. I hear a lot of times we wrestle not with flesh and blood, but spirits and principalities. I think that's not even that thing. That's in the scripture, and that's something that just always grown up hearing that adage. And Game Spirit is a podcaster slash blogger or vlogger and or online content creator that really speaks to that. He'll talk about things from the perspective of, well, overall, spiritually, if you are a child of the Most High, or if you're following Allah, or you're a practitioner of Buddhism, or someone that's on the spiritual path, then how you may interact in a situation. And he also talk about the inverse of, if you're on the dark side, then what it is that the dark side would like to see out of the situation. And when I saw his content, I was really kind of impressed and taken aback, and just had to soak it up. Like, wow, that's a very different perspective, but that's actually dope that this brother's acknowledging, like, a lot of this stuff that people casually support and get behind these days is not godly. And people kind of play both sides of the line, and he really speaks to it of like, hey man, you can't be so woe is me or crying and sad and upset when this happens to such and such. However, when such and such was out here doing their thing was, killing and violence and destruction. And then when something happens to them, we want to, be broke up and cry and ask why God did this and why this one was taken, and have to understand that person was actually out here doing the devil's bidding while they were moving around, or they were serving the dark side, or serving Satan. So as a child of Satan, this is how they should be moving to, bring praise and honor to Satan. And that was a crazy perspective, but then it's like, well, I mean, you have also always heard that no man can serve two masters. So, shout out to GameSpit. I highly recommend his content. I think is definitely worth looking at. and checking that brother out, because he has a lot of interesting takes on a lot of things that are going on right now in pop culture, and also just news events and things that are important to the community at large. So it's worth looking at his content and just saying what you think and supporting him, man. It's awesome to see interested and adult creators in this content space, where now you have more and more freedom to set up your own channels, your own networks, and he's somebody that updates regularly. So it's worth looking at his stuff and seeing what you think. Fashion wise, got a doozy for you all. Da da da! Drum roll, please. One time for the fine people at THC International, the honorary citizen. And if you can see this, if you can see these fine fabrics right here, man. Shout out my boy DJ Passport, Tarek Harris himself, man. But THC, man, they have some really, really dope cosmopolitan type attire. The brother makes a lot of pieces. He has some t-shirts and different things like that, but he has a lot of also formal wear and or dress shirts and casual shirts, button up shirts that are created using African prints and traditional type of fabrics. So if you get a chance, check out their website, the Honorary Citizen, and he's also online at THC International or the Honorary Citizen. So go online, support that brother, shop with him. I got a bunch of pieces from him, man. When I tell you I get compliments, man, whenever I wear any of the pieces by the brother, people, strangers just come over. Oh, I love that shirt. I love that. I love that. People will forever compliment me when I wear his items. So, check out, man, shop with THC, man. Y'all get behind that, support the honorary citizen. And that's about it. Wow. Just like that, man. But anyway, this has been Smarter Not Harder podcast. And as always, man, check out Black Magic Jr. Please listen to the music. Explore the catalog. We got a lot of records out right now, and things are going up, man. Shout out Pack of the Plug. And that's what's up. We out.
New Black Magic Jr. on the store bag. Out now on all platforms. Free to Rudo. Yeah, you rap. Come on, line up. Go, gentlemen, store bag. Come on. Look forward to the flow like that bad. Rebel worldwide. But make good decisions so you never have to go. But ball to the point, you ain't worried about the tag. And if you get knocked, you can buy so bad. Bruce is really just a gesture. I still got my slides on. Free us. I ain't even got my New Black Magic Jr. on the store bag. I ain't got my cell phone back. Fresh out on the streets, man. But I know that Black Magic Jr. out my back. Go, PS John. Go. Shout out the whole block. Go. Yeah. New Black Magic Jr. on the store bag. Get out the way. Now rapping on all platforms. Let's go. How much is what you think matters? Yeah. Can you use stocks as a ladder? Where the hell the store at? Anybody that went digital, right? As always, man, you never know what it's about to take you, man. Brand new Black Magic Jr. on the store bag. Skin twice as smooth. Only time will tell when she's in the mood. Better than the conversation, wine or the food. How now? She our favorite. As always, explore the Black Magic Jr. catalog. Treat yourself. Black Magic Jr. And oh yeah, now that we on the even, we got the store bag deluxe. Exclusively on the even. Y'all know what it is. Follow at Reality Drugs. Store bag deluxe. Out now on even. My bad, deluxe store bag. Yeah. Out now exclusive, even out there. When you can name your own price. We ain't tripping, bro. We'll take whatever you got. Let's go. Shout out all my niggas in the criminal. This sounds like Neo looking for a payphone in these times. The government convict to the thought crime. This club going all the way to the top. The way bitches act when they see you got a knife. I am not finna play with you, bitch. Nope, cold like that time.